Welcome to Dare to Be Authentic podcast. I'm your host, Mari Mitchell, and I'm so happy to be with you here today. I have a very special guest. His name is Ben Gay III. Ben has been called a living legend in the sales world. After 50 plus years in professional selling, he has been the number one salesperson in every organization in which he has worked. At the age of 25, having been personally trained by fellow sales legends like Dr. Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale, and Zig Ziglar, and some others, he was president of what was then the world's largest direct sales network marketing company. Ben now writes, publishes, and produces The Closers, a series of books, audios, videos, newsletter, podcasts, and live seminars that is considered to be the foundation of professional selling. Welcome to the show, Ben. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. A pleasure to be with you.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you here today. So let me ask you this. What do you believe were the three most important things you learned? Can't hear me? Okay. What's going on? Can you hear me now? That's weird. Everything is on. You heard me initially, right?
Yep, and I can hear you now.
You can hear me now. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's start again. What do you believe were the three most important things you learned from Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale, and Zig Ziglar?
Uh, I learned so many things from each of them. It's really difficult to pick out three, but we'll take it from the top. In Dr. Napoleon Hill's case, I learned action.
Hmm.
Everyone who reads Think and Grow Rich is looking for the deep, dark secret in it. And he said, I wrote it. I forget how many times. He said, it's in the book 19 times. So I'm sort of startled they're still looking for it. It's action. And
Okay.
the other thing neat about uh, Think and Grow Rich is he didn't write it as this deep philosophical thing that people talk about now while they're looking for the deep meaning. He wrote it as a sales training manual. He didn't think anybody but salespeople would buy it or read it.
Wow.
So,
That's amazing. What a
yeah.
surprise.
And he also said to me many times, he said, because I would praise him, he was an older gentleman. He was technically old enough to be my great grandfather when we met.
Wow.
And so I would praise him as a Southern gentleman praises older people. A, he deserved it, but B, I knew he appreciated it. And almost every time I would praise him and his work, he'd say, Ben, I'm going to be soon forgotten, me and my work.
Oh my gosh, he
And I
was
think of
so
that
wrong.
frequently. Yeah, because he's better known today than he was when he was alive.
Absolutely. Oh
And
my gosh. What is
the other thing from him was focus.
mm,
I'm easily distracted. Uh, I'm like a crow, shiny objects, you know. And he taught me to zero in. And he would sit in my office. I had a big conference table, and his chair was the last one on the end. And he could come and go from any meeting, anytime, didn't have to knock on the door or anything. And he would never criticize me or seriously question me in front of other people.
mm,
So he would be sitting down there, and then everybody get up and leave if we were having a meeting, and I hear the door click. And with my peripheral vision, I would see if his head came up. Because if his head came up, that meant something had just happened he wanted to talk to me about.
right.
And frequently in the early days, it was focus,
Mm,
action and focus. And he would, if it was just the two of us and something went on outside in my secretary's office and the door happened to be open, and I'd look up, he'd say, Benjamin, focus,
mm.
trying to train me to zero in on one thing and stay on it.
Wow, that's really
Uh, and he did that. And then another thing that he told me one day, I think, I forget what the circumstance was. I think somebody was praising me and in front of a group, and I was accepting it because I loved to be praised, especially in those early days when I really believed it.
right.
And he told me one day, so we have action and focus. And he said, Ben, always have at least one person preferably several, but at least one person who will tell you the absolute truth
Hmm.
about what's going on. Because I'm 25 years old, I'm president of adjusted for inflation, a multi-billion-dollar company. I'm a high school graduate, and people are saying, Mr. Gay, you're just wonderful. And I'm going, yes, yes, I am. So he encouraged me to have one. I had one for many years. He just died recently, named Cheryl Shoemate. He was a dear friend of mine. He was sort of my Ed McMahon to Johnny Carson.
Mm.
And Cheryl would tell me from time to time that I was full of something. I forget what the word was, but it wasn't pleasant.
Full of baloney.
So I had those situations, and he was always very good about pointing them out to me. Little things like one day somebody was reading through something I had written, and they said, "Boy, you really like exclamation marks." And this was from a dear friend of mine, Ray Considine, who wrote a famous book called Waymish, Waymish. Why are you making it so hard for me to give you my money? And he said, you really like exclamation marks. And I said, yeah, they punch up and it's like salt and pepper and so on. And I accepted the compliment. And when he left to go do something, the door clicked and Dr. Hill's head came up. He said, Ben, that wasn't a compliment. I said, oh, I thought it was. He said, no, it was an observation.
Right. Yeah. It's so funny because I do
You're,
writing coaching and I tell my writers you can't use too many exclamation points. It takes too much from what you're really trying to say. That's
yeah.
funny.
In a well-written newspaper, you won't find any
Any
exclamation marks at
correct.
all unless it's within quotes
Mhm.
and whoever they were quoting was yelling.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
short of that. So I try and limit myself. I'll get ready to send out an email and I'll check, because if I'm trying to punch it up at the end of every paragraph, left to my own devices, there's
Yeah.
an exclamation mark. So I at least take out every other one.
Right, right. I understand. It's just you're just so enthusiastic. I get like that too. And then I
Yeah.
read through and I'm like, okay, only one exclamation mark. I'm gonna cut the rest out. Very good. Well, that's lovely. I just love all those little stories and the fact that you personally met these people. That's astonishing to me. Um,
Well, I really lucked out there. I became president of this company based on my ability to speak and my sales volume. I won a national sales contest, the mystery prize. There was a mystery prize for number one. Number two was a Rolls Royce, and so on down the line. Zig Ziglar won the Rolls Royce,
oh
and
wow.
I won the mystery prize. And so I was flown to California to have dinner with the boss of the company, the owner, William Penpatrick. And I said, so what's the mystery prize? He said, you can be president of the company.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe it. 25, high school graduate, only 2 years deep in this business. Short of that, I was working for my father for $100 a week just over 2 years before.
Wow.
And I said, why did you make it a mystery prize? He said, in case I didn't like who won it.
Then he can change the price. That
Yeah, he was going to change the prize.
would
But he liked me. We'd done a couple of things together, and he liked me and sort of took me under his wing. But anyway, back to all these people. As president of the largest multi-level marketing direct sales company in the world, shortly after I took over, it was headed that way anyway. If you were a professional speaker, you wanted to be our friend. You wanted to speak to 15 or 20,000 people or 5,000 or whatever. We were what was happening.
Mhm.
And so and how you did that was you had to get me to hire you.
Wow.
So sitting there minding my own business came Zig Ziglar, Augmentino, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, Earl
Oh my
Nightingale, et
God.
cetera, because they all wanted to get on the stage.
Right.
And So that accounts for a whole lot of the people I met. And then you build your own following and life takes off. But you have a list of, I think, of some of the people I've worked with. Almost every one of them was a speaker at one or more of our events.
Nice.
That's how we probably started out together.
Wow, that's wonderful. What a beautiful opportunity. When he told you that, I had to ask you a question because I was going through my head. When he told you that you were going to be president of this company, were you terrified? Or
I should have been, but I wasn't.
good.
I was sort of full of myself. I became terrified as time went on. Zig, for instance, was 18 years older than I was, and although we joined Holiday Magic in the same meeting room on the same day in Atlanta, Georgia, September 15th, 1965, Wednesday at noon, sort of made an impact on me.
I remember that day well.
Yeah. But from time to, and I beat him in a sales contest. So it's not like a year-long sales contest. It's not like I was humbled by his presence,
Mhm.
but I acknowledged the fact he'd been at it a while. And so from time to time, since he was the largest distributor in the field after I left the field, we would talk. And if I was having a bad day and he'd known me and it, we both worked in and around Atlanta together, if I was having a bad day, I'd say, Zig, here's the deal. Bring me the keys to the Rolls Royce, and I will give you the keys to the front door. And Zig would laugh and say, oh no, you beat me fair and square.
That's really cute.
Yeah, except for the honor of it all, he understood that the car was probably the better deal.
Not that much pressure, just something you ride around and enjoy. Yours was pressure, big time. Oh my gosh, I love that story. Oh my gosh, and it's a mystery prize. That's brilliant. So let me ask you this question. What are you most passionate about these days?
Helping people, it's how I've made a living for years, but I've now that the pressure is off of that, I find that I'm still doing it. Uh, Gigi said to me one day, Gigi's my wife, my boss, and my partner. She said to me one day, are you ever going to retire? And I said, well, to quote George Burns, you're not old enough to remember, but when he was asked, are you ever going to retire? He said, to what?
Exactly.
All he did was walk on stage, tell jokes, and smoke a cigar. And he was very good at it. But he would be walking somewhere, talking to somebody, smoking his cigar. If he retired, the difference was he wasn't going to get paid.
That's right.
So, Zig used to accuse me that he said Ben Gay would work a traffic accident. Two or more people gathered together. Uh, I'm there going, giving unsolicited advice frequently.
Mhm.
Uh, I got into coaching by Gigi, who when she runs a jewelry business, vintage costume jewelry,
Oh,
and helps in my business. But and normally she isn't here today, but normally she's sitting about 10 feet away from me. So one day, getting off the phone, talking to somebody for an hour, giving advice and helping them, and so on. She said, "Why don't you charge for that?" And I said, "Well, I really enjoy doing it." And she said, "That wasn't my question. Why don't you charge for that?" And she said, "You always say that something for nothing is worth nothing. Maybe they'd take you more seriously." So I put a little fee together, an hourly fee, I think it was, and began charging. Well, about half of the people who lived to hear my next profundity went away.
yeah. Okay. I expected that. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
And the other half started doing what I said. Not 100%, but you know what I
Right.
mean? They
Right.
took it more seriously.
Oh, good.
So over the years, I've jacked up my fee just to keep everybody's attention.
Hmm.
Uh, and but I find that for free, it's people they'll say to me, I want to pick your brain. I said,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
we'll do that right after we pick your method of payment.
That's hilarious. I should use that because I have people say that to me also. I
Yeah,
want to
well,
pick your brain.
do it. It
Oh, I
gets their
love it.
attention.
Yes,
It thins the herd before they become a problem.
that's fantastic. Wow. I learned so much already, just in a few minutes. So, what do you believe is the main message that you bring to the public?
Uh, if William Penpatrick used to, I think he was kidding. He said, "I'm going to build a big glass wagon. You see it from all sides, and I'm going to have it dragged around to shopping centers all over the country." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, you're going to be in it, and on the outside is going to be a sign. If he can do it, anyone can do it." And I thought, wow, well, that's sort of the message I spread. Success is not difficult. Dr. Dr. Hill, I started to say Dr. Hill. Dr. Hill helped me work out a daily success system.
Mhm,
People say, "How do you stay motivated?" I said, "I don't stay motivated. I have down days just like everybody else. From time to time, I have depression. It doesn't make any difference what's going on. I can be having, a wonderful day and a wonderful month and great income, and I still suffer a little bit from depression.
mhm.
But uh, I also have my daily success system, which is in this binder.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't have to be motivated. I have to come to the office and open up the binder to today's date. And there are things that I plan to do today a year ago. We take 4 long weekends. I don't do well on vacations, but we take 4 long weekends a year. I plot those out and put them in the calendar in advance. And nothing, no speaking engagement, nothing short of a funeral of a dear friend
Mhm.
changes those dates.
Right.
Gigi and I usually go over to the coast to Mendocino, California.
Mhm.
We have a couple of places over there we just love, but those 4 days are sacrosanct. One night a week is written in the calendar and highlighted a year in advance. So it's not really a year in advance. It's, let's say it was Friday,
Mhm.
uh, dinner night dash move up. And that means before I cross it out, I move it up to the next Friday or to the next 2 or 3 Fridays or whatever. But one night a week is blocked out for us. And then I have things I don't like to do, but when they come up on the calendar,
You got to do it.
yeah, uh, that I was looking forward to this because I instinctively liked you. But top thing on the calendar for today, March 27th, Thursday, 12:30 p.m. Your name, your phone number, uh, and that it's going to be audio only.
Mhm.
Although I was told to dress up.
By your boss.
Yeah. You're not going up there looking like that, are you?
Right.
I
And
said, it's audio,
then,
but you're going to see her. And
yes,
I told her,
yes.
so you're going to go through the whole thing. So, all right.
Oh my gosh, you're so funny. I love that you're it's just amazing. You have
Oh,
so
thank
much
you.
experience, so much wisdom, but you're very down to earth and funny. And I just love that. That's amazing. Love
That's gotten me through a lot of rough spots in my life.
it.
Uh,
Mm.
my father was funny. I came from a family of, they could all be comedians, but my father was one of those people. He walked into a room and the room came alive.
Mm.
And he used to tell me on a regular basis, I don't care how bad things get, Ben, humor. And I'm Irish, 75% Irish. My mother was Mahoney.
Oh,
So as you know, we laugh at wakes and
everywhere.
yeah. I had a Martha Connolly, Marty was her name, ran me and the company. She was technically my secretary, but like my wife, she really wasn't. She ran all aspects of my life.
Okay.
Anyway, somebody walked in the office one day, Holiday Magic years ago down in Marin County, and said, where's Ben or Mr. Gay or whatever? I don't know what the relationship was. And she said, I don't know, but he's in here somewhere. follow the laughter. And I thought, when I heard about it, what a great compliment.
Oh, that's
Uh,
beautiful.
because that's sort of what I like to spread joy. You know, a lot of times when you're the boss, you don't get to be joyful all the time. You have to tell people what's coming next, whether they like it or not.
Right.
But I try. Cavett Robert, great speaker and one of my three co-founders of the National Speakers Association, said Ben Gay could tell you to go to hell and have you looking forward to the trip. So,
That says a lot about you.
yeah.
Awesome. So let's talk about authenticity for a moment. The show is called Dare to be Authentic. What's that? What role does that play in all this for you?
Well, I teach it and have come to understand it. In the early days, I got the Cadillac before I needed one or could afford one, but that was all right.
Mm,
And my father, when I was going to the tailor to have a bunch of suits made, he said, "You don't need a bunch of suits yet. Get one suit, keep it clean and pressed." And when someone said, "What did he have on yesterday?" the answer should be, if you dress properly, "I don't remember, but he looked good." In other words, you don't need a purple shark skin suit.
right, right.
So gradually I sort of settled down into being authentic. I am what I am, uh, and I find most people can tolerate that. Um, and putting on airs never works because the truth always comes out.
That is true.
So I coined a phrase 50 years ago and added to it recently. The phrase is people buy from people that they know, like, and trust,
That's right.
and with whom they feel safe. That's the newer part of it. So one of my goals, and I teach people this, my mentoring clients, I teach them the same thing. If people like to buy from people they know, like, and trust, and
Mhm.
with whom they feel safe, then your job is not to how to trick them into buying the latest widget. Your job is to become a person they know, like, trust, and with whom they feel safe. And with that, you can't do that and not be authentic.
That's true. And you coined that
Hmm.
phrase? Wow,
Yeah.
I never knew that. I've been hearing that phrase forever. There's
Yeah,
like,
somebody said to me one day, uh, "We'd like to bring you in to do sales training, but we use the KLT program." And I said, "What's that?" I'd never heard the term, but the KLT is a sales training system. They said, "Well, it stands for know, like, and trust." I said, "No, I do know what it means. I came up with it. I just didn't know it had become a sales uh, thing."
and an acronym, which who knows what that means.
Yeah.
Oh my
So,
gosh, this is so exciting. I love that because it is true though. How can they buy anything from you if they don't trust you? And
right.
or they don't know who on earth you are if you're and these days if you're a scammer, if you're real, what's going on with you? So
And I've had people say to me, "Well, that's easy for you to say. You've been at this for many years, so people know, like, and trust you." I said, "No, no, you can create that. Most sales are made, lost, or heavily influenced in the first 10 to 15 seconds of
mm,
when you meet somebody.
yes,
So when I say know, like, and trust, and with whom they feel safe, I'm not talking about a 15-year project.
right.
I'm talking about from hello, my name is Ben Gay."
Hmm. Yes, yes. And authenticity has so much to do with that because when I meet you for the first time, when I spoke on the phone with you for the first time, I immediately liked you. You know, from emails you don't know. Of course, Russ raved about you, and
Guy.
Russ is your biggest fan, and I love him to death, Russ. And so I knew you were awesome because Russ said you were awesome. But having talked to you on the phone, which time I'm meeting you by phone, I could feel. Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
Yeah, I keep it right here on the desk. He's the only one that's ever done it for me. The first podcast I did with him. or a radio interview, I guess.
His with
Uh,
radio.
he's put it on a CD and sent it to me. And the
Oh,
reason it's on my desk, not in the car, is I don't have a CD in the car anymore.
oh, I know. No one do. Okay, so we're running out of time, but I wanted to ask you: is there one last thing you'd like to say to the listeners? Something that's on your heart today?
Uh, I'm not filled with profundities, if that's a word, but if selling is of interest to you, I have a series of books called The Closers. The first one, The Closers Part One, is the best, most popular, most powerful, best-selling book on selling ever written. And I don't say that out of ego, it just is. We sold 10.5 million copies when we quit counting
Wow.
30 years ago.
Wow.
So if you're into selling, get a hold of The Closers. And then I do coaching and counseling, as we discussed.
Hmm.
But enjoy it. Life is too short. I've reached the age where many of my friends and contemporaries are gone. And I think I've got word of an old friend who died yesterday, and he was on my list of people I haven't talked to in a long time, and I was gonna call him. So enjoy it. It's a short ride. It's can be a lot of fun. It has its ups and downs, but enjoy it. I do what I do because I love it. I would do it for free.
Good thing you have a boss that tells you don't do it for free.
Yeah, right.
So, Ben, what's the website people can go to see not just your book, but to see your coaching services, etc.?
Well, if you're interested in the coaching services, and I sort of have not a waiting list, but a list of people that I haven't accepted yet for
Right.
various reasons, but just shoot me an email. The
Okay.
email is BFG3, as in Benjamin Franklin Gay III, BFG, the number 3, at directcon, directcon.net.
Okay.
And just say I'm interested in your mentoring program, for lack of a better word.
Okay.
And then as far as the books, you can get them lots of places, but the best pricing and free shipping and signed and dated is at stores, STORES ebay.com/ all one word, Ronzoni Books, RONZONEBOOKS. And they're priced there less than at my website, less than at Amazon or anywhere. People say, how can they do that? Well, Ronzoni is Gigi's maiden name. And the way she can sell my books for less than I sell them is she goes in the warehouse and steals what she needs. So if you don't mind dealing with an embezzler, that's the best place to get the books.
You crack me up. Oh my gosh, you have been so much fun. This has been such a delight. Thank you so much for being on the show with me today. It's truly been an honor.
Well, my honor. Anytime.
Okay, and make sure that you listen back next time to Dare to Be Authentic Radio, and all these links will be appear here right on the Spreaker podcast. So you can link right into his email and then link right to the website for the books. So have a wonderful day. Thanks again, Ben, and thank you for listening in. Bye for now.
You're good.